Gabe, and I'm Elevated Daily. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to go ahead and continue our reviews today of My Adventures with Superman. I really like this take. It's kind of taken from Lois's perspective, it looks like. You know, that more romantic side, seeing how their relationship's blossoming. And even, Jimmy's friendship, showing how that solidifies with Clark and Superman. Really liking that. So let's go ahead and get into it. Before we do, please show some support. Like, comment, and subscribe. Definitely interested in what you have to say and would like to have that conversation. All right, let's go ahead and start. All right, and we start off with an air incident dirigible that is going down in flames. And Superman, rips open his chest, very reminiscent of the old going up and saving Lois out of that helicopter from Superman, the original movie. So I'm loving that callback. It's just Superman who he is. He goes up, catches the pilot, and then we go ahead and see that we had that still beam that's about to come down and crash on the crowd. And our little unicorn, Game of Thrones birdie. And then we go ahead and have Superman catch it, and that heroic. The crowd is in awe. Lois is running up to him, and then he gets these other reporters, trying to go ahead and get that interview, but he's not about to do that yet, and he goes ahead and vacates away. And we pick up with our villains of the week, which looks to be Intergang. And they are using their technology to go ahead and create havoc and cause chaos and demolish the prison. So it looks like this is going to be who we're going to follow this week and who's going to be causing the majority of the chaos. And then we go ahead and see that Clark is having issues. Well, not really having issues, but his powers are coming in. Looks like heat vision, maybe. And while this happens, he smack dabs running to Lois. Luckily, he didn't kill her. And, they're talking, and he's telling her how, he brought her some coffee. And it seems to be her favorite coffee that is all the way across, town. Superman, who doesn't care, time, like that. So he gives it to her, and, she's blushing over it. And then they hear a ruckus, and they go into their office. And we see the veterans are in there. Steve Lombardi, Cat Grant, and some investigative journalists who spoke too fast for me to go ahead and hear. And, they're discussing the issues of the day and telling them, you're being scooped. Sorry, we're here. No hard feelings. It's just how it is. And, we all get that when we come in someplace new and we get the people that have been there, running the playground for some time, and they want to go ahead and make sure that you earn your way up. You don't just walk in. We see Intergang is getting ready to cause some kind of mayhem. And then we're back with, the gang, and they are pretending to go ahead and be the veterans to go ahead and fool the warden of the prison so they can go ahead and, do some investigation. They see the damage that was caused by Intergang in their escape, and they're trying to figure out Intergang's next move, upon their exit. And Lois and Clark are discussing this, and Jimmy brings up, his camera. He's like, I took some pictures. I got an idea. They put their heads together and discover it's the bank that is going to be robbed, and they discover it's the hardest safe and the biggest challenge, so that's where they're going to go. And then boom, Intergang back, materializing inside of the bank, and they are getting ready to go ahead and cause a ruckus. And right outside the bank, we see our gang is out there, and lo and behold, they are there right when the security guard at the bank draws and gets blown away, literally, by Banshee. Blown right out the building and right into Superman and their path. Well, Clark's path. And then he becomes Superman like that, coming to save the day. And when he goes in, he's not quite ready for the villains he has to face. He's, not sure what's going on in there. But he goes in and immediately Banshee, or Silver Banshee, this version of Silver Banshee, screams at him and just rocks his world for a second, gets him into the wall, and he's trying to figure out what's going on. And, you got that big old brute Goliath behind her, and, Silver Banshee's letting Superman have it. And this is cool because it shows, like, he still doesn't know what's going on. He can't use his super hearing from outside because he doesn't quite have it yet. Doesn't have x-ray vision or anything. He's still not quite Superman. So this is kind of an origin story as well, with him kind of finding out who he is as well. We're on that journey of self-discovery with all of our characters, it seems, which is cool because it's a different interpretation, and I'm with that. And Soups, after he's getting blasted in the face by Silver Banshee, he's falling down. And right as he's falling down, this Goliath fool is about to beat down on him. And Soups is like, nah, I'm done with this. And we see him catch the gloves and proceed to just discard this Goliath. And he's going against the wall. Our other thug just vacates. She's like, I'm out. And then Goliath smashes against the wall, and we get our other thug reappearing back, saying surprise, and blasting on Soups and everyone else with this ice gun. And we see Intergang's plan is going off the rails here. Can't shut off the machine. And with this chaos explosion, we see that the ice machine is going out of control. It takes over the bank. It is just going outwards, and in the chaos, Jimmy and Lois are trying to save people, and they're saying that it looks like it's going to just take over everything. And the ice, it envelops everybody. It envelops Banshee, and you see her freaking out, and it's about to envelop Superman, but he's looking and he's focused on Lois, and he's eyeing on her, and that in turn causes something to kind of kick in, and the heat vision kicks back in, and Superman goes ape, just explodes. Well, first he kind of melts the ice, and then just explodes. And I'm liking how it's showing, Superman gaining his powers along the way, how each one is kind of connected to an emotion, and that's cool. That's kind of how it is with him, and he has a lot to control. Otherwise, he's melting people's faces off, the slightest indiscretion. And then Superman uses his heat vision to go ahead and explode that, I'm going to call it Chaos Emerald, and then blows it up. And in doing that, he gets another one of those visions from the apocalyptic technology. And then he sees, things to come. And we kind of, already know what's going to happen. So, eventually, we have Mr. Omega Beam himself, Darkseid, coming in to pay a visit, I'm going to assume. And once he uses his heat vision to destroy the emerald, we get the city defrosting. People are saved. Everyone is awesome. He goes up to, Jimmy and Lois and says, you two stayed and helped people. I'm willing to go ahead and give you that interview. And Lois is thankful for it. Cat Grant and Mr. Lombardi run up, and Superman is like, I'm out. And he grabs Lois, and whoosh, they're up off in the air. And she's a little nervous at first, but you see she's kind of warming up to it. I mean, she's flying through the air with Superman. And we get this nice little moment with them where they're flying. And, they're talking a little bit, but they're just kind of enjoying each other's company. And, they land. And she's a little, distraught at first. She needs to go ahead and kind of gain her footing. But once she does, she wants to go ahead and discuss, where he's from. She wants to ask him questions. And she wants to interview him, and he's willing to do that. Gives her a little bit, but not much, because he doesn't know much himself, and she thinks he's kind of lying on that, but he doesn't quite know who he is or where he's from fully yet, but he's on that journey, and we're going to find out with him. So he thanks her, and he's off, and boom, we get Clark coming in through that door, all worried about her, and she's all happy and tells him she just had her little interview with Superman, and it's like, really? And he thinks that's the end of it, but she's like, I'm not willing to give up on this. I'm going to go ahead and investigate and dig more. And he's like, great. All right, and that is the end of the episode. So I have thoroughly enjoyed this whole series so far. It is a different interpretation of Superman that I'm used to. It's kind of like adult, but young adult, and it's them kind of coming into them. It's coming into who they are as adults, as the Superman, as Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen. And I like that we're along for the ride with this, because it's giving us different perspectives. You see that Lois at one point was so gung ho that she kind of put everybody else to the side because she was too selfish. But along the way, she realizes that she needs to go ahead and care about the people that she's writing the stories for. And she is always trying to help that as well. And Jimmy also, he's just trying to find the truth because it is out there. And you got Clark, different beast than Batman. Clark is becoming Superman, and Batman, who is my favorite character, that's why I bring him up, is the flip side of Superman. Batman is Batman. That is the core of who he is. Bruce Wayne's the mask that Batman puts on, to where Superman, he does put on the mask of Superman. He's Clark Kent. He's Clark Kent thanks to Ma and Pa Kent. And due to that, thankfully, he has a humanity and he values that. So interesting. I'm interested to go ahead and see where that's going to go and how much more they're going to play into that. Definitely, definitely like the character vibe on here. Like I said, taking something old, making it feel new and fresh. So that is good. I like the animation style. Jack Quaid as Superman. Did not think I was gonna like Broimler from Lower Decks, Star Trek Lower Decks, if you know that. If you don't, watch it. It is a great show. Save Star Trek. And then we have, him being Superman, the kind of bouncing back and forth, the unsurety of himself. I do like that. I like how he's able to kind of bounce back and forth, but still stand up once he goes ahead and musters the strength. So, good character choice, good voice acting. Thank you for joining us again, and please like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know how we're doing. Comment on the episode of Superman. I want to have that conversation with you. How are you enjoying that series so far? Let us know, and thanks for joining us again. I am Gabe. I'm Elevated Daily. Stay safe out there and stay elevated.